Hello, Malevolence Omega, this is Emperor Palpatine. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to run Rey Jedi training in Phase 1 of the Sith Raid. First, let's go over the necessary zetas. For Jedi training Rey, you definitely want to have Inspirational Presence. It is the most key zeta to this team. It is what makes it do any damage at all. Without the zeta, you'll probably get sub 500,000 scores, which is pitiful. You don't need Virtuous Protector or Insight. Insight is basically having an almost permanent illuminated destiny on Rey because she just gets so much turn meter and goes so often. But it's not necessary at all. And then Virtuous Protector gives a 40% chance to dispel a debuff that lands on Rey as soon as she gets it. It's very RNG dependent and doesn't actually help much, but each one can help improve your scores slightly, but not by an amount worth mentioning. Next, on R2-D2, you want to have Combat Analysis and Number Crunch. You need both those zetas for this team to run excellently, but if you have to choose between one or the other, choose Combat Analysis. This zeta is the one that causes people to cleanse once they land a critical hit and is super necessary for the team. Without it, you'll just feed Nihilist protection and you'll get nowhere with your damage. And then for BB-8, the zeta you need is Roll with the Punches. You don't need a zeta past that, although Self-Preservation Protocol goes a long way, as it causes him to heal 8% of his max health and protection whenever he evades. And it'll also end up healing R2, which increases both their survivabilities by a pretty wide margin and making the team much, much better. But still negligible compared to Roll with the Punches, especially once you get them to Gear 12 and you get to equip multi-tools on everyone in the team. Once you get that, you'll have enough health steal to basically run the team forever until Enrage. And then you don't need any zetas past Inspirational Presence, Number Crunch, Combat Analysis, and Roll with the Punches, but the extra zetas will help. They'll probably, if you get all three, you'll probably increase your score by 200,000 to 500,000 points. But that's relatively negligible compared to what you get from the other four zetas. And then for mods, what you want to do is on Resistance Trooper, you just want to have a critical damage, critical chance set, have him at 55% critical chance, and then go very hard into offense. You don't need any speed on him whatsoever. You just want offense, and you want really high offense secondaries. And then for Scavenger Rey, you want a mixture of speed and offense, as well as the 55% critical chance. That's pretty key to the team, as with Rey's leadership and with Combat Analysis, it'll add an extra 40% to the team's critical chance, bringing your total critical chance up to 95, which is critical almost every hit. And then offense just increases damage, and with a crit chance, crit damage set, you'll end up doing almost triple the damage on criticals as you would with a regular attack. It matters a lot. For BB-8, you want to mod him for speed. You want around 100 speed. You can go higher very easily with BB-8. I think I've gotten him to 300 speed before. I could probably do that now if I wanted to. And then you want a critical chance set on him as well to help improve the amount of exposes you'll end up landing. Although once you get the first Illuminated Destiny off, it ends up mattering less because you get an extra 50% critical chance from the critical chance buff. On R2, you want to mod him for a slight amount of speed. I like 80 speed extra. More or less, it's totally up to the user, but you definitely want at least 50% critical chance, and then as much offense as you can get past that. And then for Scavenger Rey, you want her to have about 220 speed, so an additional 80 speed if possible. If not, 200 to 210 is not... It changes the run a little, but it doesn't make a huge difference. And then you want her to have critical chance, crit damage set, as well as offense secondaries as much as possible, in addition to that 55% critical chance. And that's all the mods you need for the team. The goal is to add roughly 600 offense prior to R2's number crunch adding anything. And then for only BB-8 needs a ton of speed. The rest, it's helpful, but it doesn't change much. So now let's go into the run. So the sequence of turns is going to be BB-8. You'll always use that middle ability first. And then the first thing you want to do is with Jedi Training Rey, use this ability, her debuff giver. And if you don't land speed down, you need to stop and restart the run. And then from there, you want to use burning. And then if you don't get an expose on Nihilus, you need to abandon the run. It makes a huge difference because that turn meter removal is unresistible if you use a special ability while an enemy is exposed. It'll remove 5% turn meter, and with the amount of turn meter gain on the team, that adds up very quickly. So then just use specials as often as possible. You want to use Rey's middle ability, calling R2 to assist. You don't want to just immediately blow this tune or blow whoever it is out of the water. And then hopefully, if you do it right, you'll end up using Illuminated Destiny before Nihilus gets his first turn. And you always want to use Smoke Screen on BB-8, but it doesn't look like I'll actually get the Illuminated Destiny. Oh, I might. And then if you get Illuminated Destiny before his first turn, your damage goes insane. So now, from here on out, I will just be buffing the team, and it'll just be buffs. This is probably going to be a 7 million damage run if the RNG continues like it is right now, which is amazing. See, Nihilus hasn't even gotten his first turn, but now he's going to deal a little bit of damage around, but everyone has so much health steal that it makes no difference. And you always want to be using special abilities. If you use anything other than a special ability, it's probably because one of Rey's abilities is on cooldown. And the reason that combat analysis works the way it does is because once you get a critical hit, it'll cleanse the buff and then register that you have activated Nihilus's protection steal. In other words, now that she has defense down, if I were to attack him with Rey Jedi Training using a basic, I would end up cleansing the defense down before he stole offense, or in the case of if Resistance Trooper happens to get it, it won't cause his cooldowns to be increased by having a debuff. So the way Rey Jedi Training's Zeta works is that they also get a reduction of 1 to their cooldown whenever they use a special ability if they're not debuffed. If they are debuffed, it cools down like normal, which is why sometimes you'll see I have to wait an extra turn with Rey Jedi Training before being able to use her middle ability. And look at that, I've dealt 2% in 3 turns of just beating on Nihilus, and it's not going to slow down anytime soon. And you add in like moments like that where Rey gets insane dodges and he doesn't get to steal the buffs off of Rey, and it just makes this whole run child's play. And then I get to Illuminated Destiny. Basically, this is the run. It just gets into motions and it starts repeating itself, and your damage goes up and up and up and up. So now I'm going to be quiet and just let you guys enjoy the run. So I actually just made a mistake there. I should have attacked one of the additionals instead of Nihilus himself with Rey, but since I had Illuminated Destiny, it makes no difference. And then you don't even have to focus on the additionals at all, because R2's burning is going to just destroy them before they ever get the chance to even be a threat. See, I did it again. But it doesn't hurt the damage at all, because at this point I've got the turn meter train rolling, I've got the ability train rolling, and the train will not stop. I'm just gonna put the brakes on Nihilus's head and keep it rolling. So you always want to be really careful. I was worried for a second there that I would not get to use my Valiant Protector before Nihilus used his Annihilate, but I did, thankfully. It was a lot closer than I would usually like it to be. But you do not want to use that ability on R2 or BB-8. They will die from you using that ability on them. If your run starts with this little blue shield above R2 or BB-8, you need to restart, unless you can kill an additional insanely quickly and get that blue shield to appear over Rey, Scav Rey, or a Resistance Trooper. You need to restart. Otherwise, your run is doomed to failure. Alright, so that's the run, and then the score we ended up getting is 7.4 million, which is an excellent score for Tier 6 or Heroic. You want to have roughly 5 million in a similar run, mostly due to the lower health that the bosses have in Heroic. But this is a really good run, and I'd be happy with this score any day. So thank you guys for watching, and if you have any questions, shoot me an at in the Discord channel. Thank you.